Good morning. Please rise in body or spirit for our gathering song, Now Let Us Sing. The anonymous composer of this hymn named the tune Robeson in honor of the prophetic voice and magnificent bass voice of singer-activist Paul Robeson. Let us sing for justice and freedom.
Thank you so much. Let's give one more expression of appreciation. What a wonderful way to start our service today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church. You have to have a cup of coffee to say that fast. I'm Leslie Takahashi, and my pronouns are she and her, and we're so glad to have everybody here today. And it's a very, very special service. So we're really glad you're here being part of our experiment in worship today. So thank you. We're glad you're here in the sanctuary, and we're also glad to have folks online, and we'll be talking to you more during the service as we go ahead. We hope that everyone will stay after the service and come out to the Borton Hall after we finish our activities and share with each other what you've learned today, and partake in some refreshments as well. So, and we also have our virtual coffee hour, which will be held for 15 minutes following the close of our hour. So, next Sunday, those who are ready to make the commitments of membership, we'll have a book signing, so you can see us at the table, one of our ministers or a board member to sign after service next week. And we hope that you will mark your calendar for our climate revival on September 28th. It's such an important way for us together to deal with an issue that for us alone can feel too big. But we're going to break it down for you, and in fact, we'll have a preview of that in one of our learning sessions today, so we're really grateful. I want to remind you that next week is our water service, and you're invited to bring water that represents an inner or outer journey from the last couple months during this summer, and we will be combining them in that very special service. It's a very special service for this congregation. Welcome to this beloved community.
Good morning. I'm Mark Chase. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm a member of your board of trustees. Welcome to our service. Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church is a welcoming faith community. We begin our services by reading our mission together. We bring to life our Unitarian Universalist values as we seek truth and work for justice, nurture compassion and courage, reach out to each other and to our larger community of faith, bridge the divisions that wound the human family, transform ourselves and our world. Please check out the weekly email and Beacon newsletter for the many, many things that are happening here, and consider calling a friend and inviting them to come to church with you. Also, please save the date for our fun Bid for Love auction. It's going to be November 9th this year. And welcome. It's good to be together.
I want to invite those who are young and young at heart to come forward all the way over here, all up front. We're going to light our chalice, and I want to invite our teens to come up and light our chalice.
Hello, we are the RE caregivers for this church, and I'm going to lead you guys in our chalice lighting. So it starts with, we light this chalice, to remind ourselves, to treat all people kindly, to take good care of the earth, to live lives full of goodness and love, and to be the best people we can be. Thank you.
Thank you, teens. So, hello, everyone. My name is Rose. My pronouns are she, her, and I am your intern minister. And today, we're talking a lot about intergenerational learning. So I'm wondering, well, one, who knows what intergenerational means? What do you think? Can you call it out to me? What do you think it means? Anybody? It means many generations. What's a generation? There's people that are older than you, there's people that are younger than you, and there's you. You're all different generations, and we all learn together. So has anybody that's younger than you or older than you ever taught you something that's really important to you? Yeah? Like what? What have you learned that's really important to you? What? To love your family? Yeah, that's very important to me. So one thing that I learned that's still really important to me was when I was a kid, the person who raised me more than anybody else was my great-grandma, and her name was Mildred. It's a name you don't hear a lot anymore. Yeah, and my great-grandma, when I was about 4 or 5, started teaching me how to crochet. And crocheting is when you have yarn and a hook, and you can make just about anything you can think of. And that is so much fun. I've made stuffed toys, I've made purses, I've made blankets, I've made scarves and hats and anything you can think of. Yeah, and I started when I was really little, and I'm so grateful to my great-grandma because it is still one of the most important things to me that I do today. It's a practice that keeps me happy, and every time I crochet, it reminds me how close I am to my grandma, even though she's not with me anymore. I think of her every time I crochet, which is all the time. All right, so I'd like you to keep in mind the things that you learn from people in other generations, people that are younger than you that teach you things, and people that are older than you that teach you things that you'll carry with you for the rest of your life. Thanks, my friends. And I think, can our friends return to their seats? They should stay right where they are. All right.
Can rise in body or spirit. We are going to do a congregational song. This is a song called the Feelings Song. It's by a woman named Heidi Rojas, who was trying to comfort her child through this lullaby. And I want to teach it all to you. This is a song that we are going to use in our RE curriculum. So I'm going to teach you a verse and a chorus, and then it's kind of repetitive after that. So I'll sing a sentence, you guys sing it back. When you're sad or afraid, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So it doesn't sit all alone in your heart. Doesn't sit all alone in your heart. Awesome. Okay, that's our verse. Now the chorus. Feelings are like superpowers. Feelings are like superpowers. They tell us what our hearts and bodies need. They tell us what our hearts and bodies need. I'm here for you, you're safe with me. I'm here for you, you're safe with me. Just set your feelings free. Just set your feelings free. Okay, now we're going to sing it all together. Here we go. When you're sad or afraid, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So it doesn't sit all alone in your heart when you're sad or afraid. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So it doesn't sit all alone in your heart when you're sad or afraid. Let's breathe about it. so it doesn't sit all alone in your heart when you're sad or afraid. Let's sing about it. Let's sing about it, so it doesn't sit all alone in your heart. Feelings are like superpowers. They tell us what our hearts and bodies need. I'm here for you. You're safe with me. Just set your feelings free. When you're angry or hurt, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, so it doesn't sit all alone in your heart when you can't find the words. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, so it doesn't sit all alone in your heart when your body feels loud. Let's breathe about it. Let's breathe about it, so it doesn't sit all alone in your heart when you're happy or proud. Let's sing about it. Let's sing about it, so it doesn't sit all alone in your heart. Feelings are like superpowers. They tell us what our hearts and bodies need. I'm here for you. You're safe with me. Just set your feelings free. Just set your feelings free. Thank you. Okay, well, good morning. Wow, we got you singing. So we just learned the feelings song, and as the kids are heading back to their seats, I want to take a quick poll. How many people are feeling happy right now? Show of hands. Okay, raise your hand if you're feeling excited. Awesome. How about energized? Playful? Have any playful hands? What are some other synonyms for these feelings? Happy, excited, energized, playful. Shout them out. Joyful, boisterous. Okay, that's not very many synonyms. Some of us can come up with a few more. Yeah, yeah. Some other synonyms for happy, excited? Bashful. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, well, I'm going to guess that not all of us are feeling those feelings. Maybe some of us are feeling more than one feeling at the same time. So I invite those of you who haven't shared out loud yet to move out of your comfort zone and be a little bit more vulnerable. Is there anyone here who's feeling angry? Do we have any hands? Anybody feeling angry? Is there anybody feeling sad? Is there anybody feeling scared or worried about something? Okay, now, I invite you to take a minute and turn to your neighbor and share one thing that makes you feel angry, sad, or scared. All right, let's bring our focus back in. If you hear my voice, clap once. If you hear my voice, clap twice. If you hear my voice, say hush. Ooh, we got it in 3. Nice. Okay, now, I want you to take a minute and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. How does it feel in your body to sit and pause with these emotions. To really stop and think about how you're feeling and feel into those feelings. Let's take another deep breath all together. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Now I want to take a moment and talk about our children's programs. This year, I felt called to create a curriculum for our spiritual exploration program that focuses on emotions, feelings, emotional intelligence, emotional regulation, all that good stuff. In these times of rapid change and uncertainty, I've witnessed both in our children and in ourselves as adults, this overwhelming need for tools to navigate our emotional landscapes. We live in a world that often encourages us to move quickly and push through challenges and prioritize productivity over presence. Yet, in the midst of all of this, our emotions, the very core of our human experience, can become neglected, misunderstood, or even suppressed. I believe that understanding and embracing our emotions is a spiritual practice. It's a way of honoring our inner lives, fostering deep connections with one another, and living out our Unitarian Universalist values of compassion, empathy, and respect. By teaching our children about emotions, we are giving them the language to articulate their feelings, the awareness to understand them, and the tools to manage them. This curriculum isn't just about helping kids feel better when they're sad or angry, though that's important too. It's about empowering them to be more compassionate human beings who understand that emotions are a part of what makes us whole. Emotional intelligence is about recognizing our own emotions and those of others, and learning how to navigate them in ways that are kind, respectful, and aligned with our values. When we do this, we're not just teaching our children how to get through tough moments, we're teaching them how to live deeply and with intention and with love. As we move forward together in this new school year, I hope this curriculum serves as a foundation for our community to grow together in emotional resilience, in understanding, and most importantly, in connection. May it be a resource for our children and our families to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and integrity, and may it deepen our collective commitment to building a world that values every emotion and every person. May our spiritual exploration program for children and youth be a place for belonging, connection, and spiritual play. Thank you. Okay, and now I want to teach you another song. This one's a little bit more of a chant, so you can stay seated for this one. We're going to need our hands. This is a repeat after me song. Okay. My hands are strong enough. My hands are strong enough. They're strong enough.
They're strong enough.
I'm good enough.
I'm good enough.
My hands are strong enough to give love.
My hands are strong enough to give love.
Awesome. Now there are a few different verses, but let's take it back to the beginning and we're going to sing it all the way through all together. Here we go. And actually, let's get a beat. Let's copy Nace's beat. Nace is more rhythmic. Can't beat and sing. Okay. My hands are good enough. They're strong enough. I'm good enough. My hands are strong enough to give love. Arms. My arms are strong enough. They're long enough. I'm good enough. My arms are long enough to give love. Heart. My heart is wide enough. It's wide enough, and I'm good enough. My heart is wide enough to give love. My light. My light is bright enough. It's bright enough, and I'm good enough. My light is bright enough to give love. Awesome, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Steve Deach. I'm a member of your Board of Trustees. My pronouns are he and him and his. And I'm excited. Thank you, Marina. I get to ask you all for money today. About every 8 to 10 weeks, I come up here and give the call for offering. And initially, when I did it, I felt really uncomfortable. And what I found over time is that it actually is a time for reflection, where I think about what all the MDUUC community means to me, and the fellowship and the people, the music, the program for kids and teens, the grief group, the justice and social support. And I find it just wonderful that we are fortunate enough to be in that type of community. So as you think about today what you can contribute from a resource standpoint, think about what MDUUC does for you and how it makes you feel each day, each month. A reminder today, during the offering, we're not going to be dropping the rocks into the, what is it? The water. We're going to be doing it later on in the service. So just remember as we go through this. The ushers will now come forward.
Can we say thank you again to Amalia Contreras? Thank you. So we are having a very special service today, and we are so grateful to those who are helping us do that. This is a day when we are going to celebrate learning, not just the learning that we do when we're younger, but the learning we do all our life, because that is our tradition here. So we are going to do something different. We're going to, in a minute, we're going to invite you to take some time to have, make a choice about what you want to learn next. And you've got a couple choices, and they're wonderful choices. And as I announce these, if the folks are in the room, I want you to wave your hand or jump up and down or dance or whatever you want to do to make yourself seen. But we're going to have choices, and this is a family activity, so you're going to travel together as a family. And here are your choices. First, you can join Marina McGregor in the Borton Hall, talking about music and the muse. And you can do spiritual practices for families with our intern minister, Rose. You can also do tools and tips with Tom Taylor in the back. Yeah. And we have Finding Hope in Action in Climate Change with Dayamara Bach, who's somewhere around, and I think maybe in the fireside room already, and Writing Your Life with Casey Gardner and Elle Fardell in the breezeway right near the brick patio. And then I will be staying in this room with Embodying Calm with some skills for that. And I will also have the joy of those online. You will be joining us. So we are grateful to have all of you here. So as in a moment, Kevin, can we just say thank you to Kevin Shen, who's just amazing. In a minute, we're going to have some, Marina's going to send us off, and then after that, Kevin is going to play, hold on a second, Kevin, we're going to do one other thing before that. Yeah, no, that's my fault. Marina's going to send us off, and then Kevin's going to play us some more traveling music. If you are going somewhere else, you can stop on the way and drop a stone if you'd like to, and we'll have you move to your space. We're going to keep that up with the places that you're going. And again, remember, we're traveling as families. If you're going to stay in this room, I'm going to invite you to travel anyway and come closer, because we'll be a lot smaller circle. So we're all going to start and let the learning begin. And I'll turn it over to Marina.
All right, as we're walking to our spaces, I want to invite you to do the first verse of our My Hands Are Good Enough. So let's review that one more time. My hands are strong enough, they're strong enough, I'm good enough. My hands are strong enough to give love. So you can chant that onto your next activity. They're good enough.
Welcome back. Can we just thank Kevin for his beautiful music as we were traveling? Thank you. And we're going to get to listen to Kevin again in a minute, so thank you. So thank you for joining in this space, and let's just now take a moment, because we have a wide shot, hold it right there, and say hi to our folks online, because they're with us. Thank you. We're so glad you're with us. And I'm going to talk just for a minute about my hopes for this little bit of time that we have together. And that is that we think very seriously about our skills that we have to meet the ups and downs of the world we live in, because we really do live in a world that has lots of ups and downs. And today we awoke to news of an expanding war in the world. There are many things that greet us each day that continue to require us to bring our whole self to our lives. And so that is really my goal today, is to give us some skills to completely meet these times that we're in. And when we feel a little bit upset or jittery, to have some tools that we can think about today, and that we'll have kind of at the ready and we will have practiced. And the tools that I'm going to suggest might be more in a family of tools. You may want to pick some other specific version of it, but I think they are suggestive of practices. And we've got some amazing experts in here that if I had thought of what, I would have tapped a couple of them for this too. But we hope we'll do this format again sometime soon. So as we come back, I'm going to invite us just to do something that'll feel maybe a little foreign to us, because one of the things we know is that we live in our minds, our bodies, and our spirits, right? But often, as people who really value ideas and learning, we forget that we live in a body. We live in a physical body, and yet we hold a lot of our stress in our bodies. So as we get started today, I'm going to invite us to do something that's from the Kundalini yogic tradition, and this may make you feel strange. So I'm going to invite you. I'm going to do it shutting my eyes, because it makes me feel less strange to do this in front of all of you. And I'm going to invite Nathan to pull in on the camera a little bit so that those at home can see what I'm doing a little bit. And we're just going to shake. Just start to gently shake where we are. If you're sitting really near your neighbor, try not to shake into their space. Eventually, you may want to move around a little bit, but then we're going to just shake. Try shaking your feet. Try shaking your legs. Try shaking your knees and your upper legs and your hips up into your back and your shoulders and your arms. And of course, you know your own body, so if you have some reason you shouldn't shake something, don't shake it. You can shake your head a little bit, just move it and bend it. And then just shake as much as your body wants to shake, but just really give yourself a good shake. Good shake. There's a reason why dogs, after something happens to them, if you ever see a dog just give themselves a big shake? It's how they shed the stress and trauma of something that happens to them. So if you ever see a dog, like maybe get scared by another dog or something, it'll often just give a quick shake, and it's a natural reflex to kind of shake off stress. So that's something to think about, and we can come back. You can quiet your shaking, make it less. Come back into this room. So there's kind of a stillness now that we're done shaking, isn't there? Something to remember, that if you have something happen, often if it's something with physical danger too, like let's say you were driving on the highway and somebody cut you off and it was scary, or somebody did a jump scare accidentally on you, we'll just give them the benefit of the doubt that it was an accidental jump scare. And shaking for a minute is a way to kind of get that stress out of your body. So it's a good skill to know. But I'm going to invite us to do one other thing, and that is to now to really listen, because we're going to get another gift from Kevin. And as we do, one thing that people find very helpful is to truly listen to a piece of music. To truly listen, like as if each note is a gift that you're being given. So let's listen as Kevin plays, and as you do, if you find your thoughts coming in, if you find yourself wondering things or wanting things or being concerned about orchestrating what you're going to do next, just try to pull yourself back. to the progression of notes that Kevin is giving us, and let's truly meditate and listen to this gift of music. Kevin Chen. Thank you, Kevin. It was very lovely. Do you feel your blood pressure coming down as you listened? So often we have music in the background, but we don't truly listen to it. We don't really hear it. So one thing we can do when we're feeling stressful or we're feeling overwhelmed, as it is anticipated we will feel in the coming months, it is anticipated that we will have things happen in our nation that will be disturbing to us and hard. And so we want to learn these skills so that we can help ourselves and each other as these times happen. So it's an important thing to think about. But just listening to a piece of music, picking something, maybe even taking a moment right now and thinking about what music you might put on a list of pieces that you would want to listen to. If something happened that you just needed to calm yourself down, can you think of at least one piece of music? And I'm going to invite our friends online to put maybe some suggestions in the chat as well. Can anyone think of at least one thing that might be a good, comforting piece of music? Yeah? Yeah, Susan? Let It Be. Well, by the Beatles, that's great. Yeah, Let It Be. That's good. Yeah. Imagine. Moonlight Sonata. That's great. That's great. Good. And I'm looking to see if we got any. Yeah. No one in the chat yet, but they're on a little bit of a delay, so they may be. Feelings, right? That's a good song, and that goes with the theme of our service today, John. Thank you. Strangers in the Night by Frank Sinatra would be another one. Well, that's great. All right, and we may come back to our friends in the chat in a little bit and see what they have, if they have anything that they're suggesting as well. That would be great. So if you have any thoughts there, that will be wonderful. So just something to think about, how to use music. But I want to, if I could have the first slide, anything, I appreciate it. Yeah. So like I said before, we have our mind, our body, and something amorphous we call the spirit, which we sometimes debate what that is. But we're going to start with the mind because we're all pretty comfortable with the mind. And we tend to think of the mind as, really something that helps us analyze, but it also helps us to think. It helps us to imagine. It helps us to remember that we have a lot of wisdom that we might not always remember we have, right? So that's something that the mind does as well. So if we go to the next slide, I want to say one of the things I actually really love when I'm feeling overwhelmed and I can't find a logical way to think through something, because the world sometimes, I don't think I'm alone in this. Do you ever feel like the world is sometimes a little illogical? Especially like the last 10 years or so, right? There's a little bit of that going on. So when I can't figure out something, a way to logically make sense of it, sometimes I just try to release that part of my mind that wants to analyze. And so one of the things they do in the Buddhist tradition is called a koan. And a koan is like a word puzzle. It's really like a puzzle for your mind. It's something that makes you think about something because there's an inherent contradiction, and it makes you hold those two truths together in that kind of paradoxical thinking that's really important. Yeah, and we're going to go through a couple. And as we do, we're going to go through them slowly, and you can just think about these. And you can, again, think about whether you might want to have a koan that you just keep on hand in case you need, just to kind of let your mind release from that desire to make things that don't make sense. Because we live in a world where a lot of things just don't make sense, right? Okay, so here's the one. Gaze at the stars, but walk on the earth. It's kind of a practical one. Actually doing this could be somewhat dangerous, but it's still an important thing to hold these two ideas. Okay, and the next one. What is the last word? It's interesting to me, it's a koan, so they don't actually put a question mark. It's a statement. What is the last word? Hard to imagine. What is the last word? Here's another one. The wise do not strive to arrive. Understanding is not understanding. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. And that's the reason why I think it's important for us to think about other ways to use our minds in these times. Because it is often the case that the quieter that we are, the more we can hear. And I want to go back through them one more time. And this time, I'm going to invite you to pick one. Just kind of try to hold it in your mind. I'm going to have you talk with someone about it. So let's see. Let's go back through them if we can go backwards. Sorry about that. I should have put them in there twice. Thanks, Tech Deck. You're doing great. Gaze at the stars, but walk on the earth. What is the last word? The wise do not strive to arrive. Understanding is not understanding. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to turn to someone around you, and if you don't have anyone around you, it's a great time to just maybe relocate for a moment and just exchange with somebody a little bit about which one you might pick and why. Why does it help your mind? And those of you online, please also do that. Yeah, I'm catching up to you. You're a little behind. Yeah. And then the ones online, you can write them in the chat which ones you think you might like and why. All right, let's talk among yourselves. What do you think, John? What do you think?
What?
Do you think any of those? So make sure that both people that you're talking have had a chance to talk. All right. I got so many screens here. Okay. Did everyone get a chance to share at least something? Okay, we got a few more. I'm going to give it one more minute, and we'll bring it to a close. Okay. Let's come back together. And I'm going to just say as we come back together, my part of the stream kind of caught up with me, and we got a few more music suggestions. Let's see. Comforting Memories. Anything by Mozart. Music by Joe Pollock. Northern Attitude by Noah Kahan, but with Hosier. That's a very specific request. Anything by Enya, and then that was thanked, and Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. So there were a lot of good suggestions online. Thank you, online community, for helping. And so just to let our voice from online come into our room as well, there were some votes for the more I know, the more I realize I don't know, as kind of a basic life koan. So I think other people, some people liked Gaze at the, so let's see, did anyone else have Gaze at the Stars but Walk on the Earth? Anyone in the room? Okay, good. Just keeping in mind that not always a good thing to do, actually, physically, depending on where you are, large open spaces. Let's see. And then we had some other, The Wise Don't Strive to Arrive is meaningful to me. So that was, anyone else have that one? The Wise Don't Strive to, yeah, that one had some votes in the room as well. Okay. All right, that sounds good. Who else had one that didn't get voted for online? Any others? Yeah, Steve. Understanding is not understanding. Yeah. Okay, that one got some other votes, it looks like. Good. So the point is, again, just to have these little pieces that we can help untangle our mind when it gets really, balled up because of something that's happening in the world. They're just good little tips to have, so it's important to think about. All right, so the other thing that is important is that we also think about the fact that when we are concerned about something, when we feel powerless about something, another really good strategy is to learn about it. I've done a lot of reading, for example, about the West Bank and Gaza over the last 6 months. I've really wanted to understand more. I had actually done some studying in the 1970s on that issue, but I really wanted to learn what had happened, and so it doesn't make me less sad, but it does make me understand a little bit more about the dynamics and how hard it is to understand that situation of physical resources that we often don't use. And the first is our breath. So just breathing is an amazing resource. And I want us to just take a moment and become conscious of our breath. So just breathe in, breathe out. And I want to say before we start that for some people, breathing is not a comforting thing. And if that's the case for you, you can just do opening your hands and closing your hands. Or you can just raise your heels and lower your heels. Or some other movement or motion that works. Because for some people, breath is not a helpful thing. But for those of us that can use the breath, let's just take a few minutes and just notice what our breathing is like. Is it relaxed? Is it shallow? Just try to deepen it a little bit. Sometimes when people get in a fuss with each other, someone will just say, hey, just take a breath. There's a reason for that. Physiologically, we're letting go of things we need to release back into the atmosphere. If you've just recently said that to your partner, that's a whole other thing. We can talk about it later. But when we get stressed or when something is disturbing, we can literally just take a moment and take a breath. And we can learn about our own bodies. For some people, the deepening the breath or trying to move into belly breathing is helpful. And for others, just moving our breath and becoming conscious, using our breath as a way to be conscious of our whole bodies. Maybe that also allows us to sit up a little straighter, move back, adjust whatever needs adjusting. So if we come back for a moment, there's also another technique that I think is really helpful, and it's the 3-step breath. So you inhale, and then you hold, and you inhale, and then you hold, and then you inhale, and then you hold. And I'll just tell you, the pro tip on this is, if you inhale too much on the first breath, it's not going to go well on the second and third inhalations. So, kind of pace yourself on this one. But let's try this a couple times. Let's do it. I'll talk us through it, and then we'll just do it a little bit. But let's inhale, and hold, and inhale, and hold, and inhale, and hold, and inhale, and then exhale. We tend to think that the inhalation is what's giving us the calm, but it's actually the exhalation. And that's one way that I know in my body that I'm really stressed is I cannot exhale. There was a very popular book about 10 years ago called Waiting to Exhale. There's a reason for that. So let's try it again. Inhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Inhale and hold and exhale. Really exhale. Another variation on this is just simply to do a counted inhalation up to 5 and a counted exhalation to 5. That'll actually help you see if you're able to exhale. That's how I actually have figured out that I have to really work on exhalation. So let's do an inhale. And exhale. Yeah. Feel free to pace yourself wherever you want to be. And inhale. And exhale. And let's just take a few minutes and you can do whatever version you want to do. Just whatever works for you as a breathing connection with that sense of calm in your center. Okay, and let's come back together. So for some of our folks online who aren't in the YouTube channel but are just on our live stream, they can't use the chat, so a couple of them realized that they have my cell phone number, so they texted me. So we have another suggestion, John McLaughlin's Lotus Feet. So that's another good song. Lots of people have my cell phone number, so feel free to send more suggestions in as we continue. And I will also say that if you watch online a lot, it is worth it to go to the YouTube and get signed up so that you can participate in the chat. And every now and then it doesn't work for me, so thanks. Feel free to text me as well. It's great. So let's do that. So one thing that, so you can tell that we can use, the breathing is a good way to use, the breathing is like a measure, right? It's like a yardstick to sort of be able to take a pulse. If you do it regularly, you get to sort of understand how you are doing personally. It really becomes a way to figure out how you are doing if you do it on a regular basis. So my suggestion is this. Any of these practices that we're doing, or any other practice that inspires you to try, do not wait until you're stressed to try it. Do it as a practice on a regular basis, and then when you are stressed, it will be there as something that you can use. And that's an important piece to do. So I'm going to also invite us to do some other body work together. So you got to get this so that I can see it. So if you're just getting, so I, during the pandemic, one of the things that I did was I got certified as I got an online, not great, but online certification as a yoga instructor. And I did that because I was realizing that during the stress of that time, it was really good to connect with myself and my body. So we're going to do some very gentle chair yoga. So sit up. And if you're really close to someone right now, this might be a good time to move over one seat, as much as we've enjoyed our closeness. Yes, we're going to do a little chair yoga. Yeah, so if you can't see me, that's another good reason to move over. And first, we're just going to start. Yes, chair yoga, there are the chairs. There you go. I'm like, I think I have a slide, but I can't remember what it is. Got too many screens open. All right. So, first of all, just begin by being aware of how you are sitting and just come into relationship. Feel your feet on the ground, if you can. And I understand that for some people, feeling your feet is not an easy thing. But if you can, if you have that privilege, feel your feet on the ground. You might want to put your hands on your knees and just feel the warmth of your hands on your knees. And just come into that particular posture. And very gently, I'm going to invite you to move your head in a slow circle. Now, you know your own body, and for everything we're doing, you will not do anything that you know will not be good for your body. So for some people, they could take their head into a very deep circle, and others might just barely do a nose circle like this. And all of those are good. I'm going to be like a medium circle, because I do carry stress in my neck. So just very gently move your head in a circle. And then, this helps in case you're starting to feel dizzy, go the other way. This is one of the most simple stretches, but we often put a lot of stress on our neck, and that's particularly true if we spend a lot of time on screens. So if you come back into your upright posture, I'm going to invite you to just very carefully move your chin towards your right shoulder. And as you do, put your left arm out. If it's something you can do, always by invitation. If your body says, no thank you, that's fine. You can always adopt it. And then I'm going to invite you to reach back. It'll be easier to do on some chairs than others. And just extend that stretch to the right while you grip the back of the chair. Feel that stretch. It's a very simple stretch. It's hard to do in this particular chair because it's closed backed, but and then come back to the center, bring your chin over to the other side, release your arm, come to the side of, bring your chin to the left shoulder, and put your right arm back. This is a good time to drop your shoulders, because sometimes we hold a lot of tension in our shoulders. And then come back into the center. And we're going to invite you to put your arms up if you're willing in cactus. Now, I'm trying to see, we have a beloved member who just had a shoulder injury. She's not in here. Okay, good. I was going to say probably not good for her. And so your one arm, drop your right arm down, but leave your left arm up. Put your right arm behind your back. Drop your left arm down and clasp your hands in behind you if you can. And then turn to the right. So you're really letting those shoulders release. And come back to the center. Both arms are back up. And this time, you're going to put your left arm down first and behind your back. Your right arm down behind your back. Clasp your hands and turn. Draw your shoulders back and turn towards your left shoulder. Come back. That is actually really good to do standing. It's a nice way to, when you're standing, if you've been sitting at a computer. I'm trying to do it more like at the top of each hour. And now I'm going to invite you to do what in yoga, do we have any people that are yogis in here who've done yoga before? Yep, good. So you know there's a cat and cow pose, but we can do this in the chair. So the cat pose is you round your back like you're an arching Halloween cat. I love the experienced yoga people are saying to each other what it is. And then you're going to pull your back, your shoulders back, as if you're a cow, a sway back cow out in the field. And let's do that again. Cat. And cow. And cat. And cow. And then I'm going to invite you just to flex your feet, your heels up if you can do that. And then down. And then maybe come back on your heels just to flex. Again, we're just remembering that we have a physical body. And that is a good thing to do, right? So, and now I'm going to invite you to tighten every muscle in your body and then just relax it. And tighten and relax. There are so many different ways that we can use this practice. But again, it's a good practice to have before you need it. So I invite you to think about what you might do to have different ways that you can help yourself relax. So I'm going to, once again, we're going to go to the texting, the online forum, and the people near you. But maybe talk with one person you haven't talked with yet, just about what is helpful to you about thinking about yourself as having a physical body when times are stressful. What is useful? Yeah, what is helpful? How can you use that? What is your favorite way? Let's talk to someone. Linda, if you want to, yeah, there we go. Okay, that's good. You can talk to the same people if you want. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. That's good. Yeah. Do you do any stretching, John? Let's come back together. Great. Yeah. So there's one more area that I just want to take a moment. Focus on so I want to say that there are lots of different practices that we can do, and I think more and more people are understanding how important it is to be part of our physical self, right? To remember our embodiment. And I'm looking at Wes because that is his profession, and it's an amazing profession. But I think it's really important for us all to be aware of that, not necessarily to be great athletes, but really just to be aware of our physical body and how we engage with our physical body. So there are lots of ways to do it, and everything from simple practices. And I want to mention a couple here. We have an online yoga class every Monday night. I'm not sure if everyone's aware of that here. If you don't have access to other resources, that might be a good way to do it. We have our Qigong class, our Qigong group on Saturday mornings. We have our meditation that does the breathing and other meditative work, posture work on Saturday mornings. There are quite a few different ways, and of course there's millions of things in the community, but also so many things on the internet you could literally find. But I actually really want to put in a plug for having a community of practice, like doing it in real time with people, because I think it really does add something to us. It reminds us that that we are people with other people in bodies, and it's a really important thing. So I have one more slide, I believe. I have two more slides. And because this is the area we haven't talked about yet, which is the spirit. And by that, we just mean our sense of connection to something that's larger than ourselves. And I will say that one of the most important things I have come to believe in these times is that we have to remember that we are not solely responsible for everything in the world. We do not have to fix everything in the world, and we can't. But we're kind of brought up, some of us, to think we should, right? And the spiritual part of it, whether it's just coming and being with people on a Sunday morning and remembering there are other good people that are doing their part, it's not all up to you, that's important. But there's so many different ways that we can do this. I think there's one more. Yeah, I mean, and a lot of it has to do with connection. So if spiritual is a word that you just cannot stand for some reason in your past that makes that a hard word for you, or it just never has made sense to you, think just about the word connection, right? Because ultimately that's what it's about. It's about connecting to something that's bigger than yourself. That's all it is. So you can do that by being kind to someone, by helping someone else, paying attention just to the world. Like we did with the music, right? Something that we hear all the time, but we're really paying attention to it. How does that work? You can play and have fun. We do not spend enough time being joyful. Joy is really an important part of being a human being. You can call a friend, be grateful for something, be with a pet, be aware of what is around you, or, and this is one of my favorites, do good even when alone. That means probably doing good to yourself, doing something kind for yourself. And often we put that the lowest of the lowest of the lowest on the ladder. So those are all some ways that we can think about to just be aware of this. And I think next time you feel overwhelmed or stressed about something, just think about what kind of a connection you can make, right? Because making a connection really is a wonderful counterbalance to feeling alone and overwhelmed and overwrought. Just that simple thing can make a difference. Calling someone, remembering that you wanted to drop by something for someone, all of that can really help. So these are simple things. It's not rocket science. And I just want to encourage us all to invest a little bit of time, as much as we can. I used to say every day, but then that becomes a stress. As many days as you can, right? Just whenever you can, to just take some time to nurture and recognize your mind and your body and your spirit, and to build tools and skills, because I think in the coming months, we're probably going to need them. And it'll be good to have them on for. So that is our conversation for today, and we're really hoping you'll join us in a minute or two in the Borton Hall. But before we go there, I just would invite you, because we're a smaller group now, if there's anyone you don't know here, please just introduce yourself. And thank you for being part of this. And thanks to, can we just say goodbye to our folks online for a minute? If we could just, we'll zoom out and say, bye folks online, yay, we're glad you're here. We're really glad everyone was with us. Thank you so much for participating. And thanks for being part of this experiment in worship today. Thank you all. Thank you. Can we also thank our tech deck who stayed with us on a lot of different stuff? Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.